Why is it important to be able to make the distinction between the things you're doing and who you are? Because you can't fix who and what you are. So if you're devoid of value, there's just no fixing that. But if you recognize that something that you're doing is shameful, that is devoid of value, well, you can just say, well, I'll just stop doing that thing. Or I'll do this other thing instead, moving forward. You see, that's easy to fix. It's very easy to fix. But when people don't make that distinction, you remember the wheel of shame? Or the merry-go-round of shame? Once that thing gets going, it's very hard to stop. You see, you view yourself as devoid of value. What is the only thing that can result in? Behaviors that you view as shameful. And because you don't make a distinction between the things you're doing and who and what you are, what do? You use that as fuel to support the idea, even more entrenched, that you indeed are shameful. You see what I'm saying? So I feel worthless. I'm devoid of value. I'm just wallowing in shame. The effect that will have on me is that eventually I will do something shameful because I say, well, I'm devoid of value. I'm already devoid of value. So why not act like it? So I do something that's shameful. And then afterwards, I feel even worse about myself. Remember, shame also is it's feeling bad about yourself. So I've done this shameful thing. Now I feel even worse about myself. And now I'm back to square one. I'm shameful. What am I going to do because I feel shameful? Eventually I'm going to do something shameful. And around and around and around we go. When somebody does a shameful thing, be it us or be it somebody else, and we're unhealthy, we look upon the person, himself or herself, and we say, they're shameful. So because they did this shameful thing, they're shameful. And that's not healthy, it's not accurate. What they did is indeed shameful, but a person cannot be shameful, devoid of value. You know, what people inherently are and the things they might do or fail to do are not one and the same thing. These two things, what you are, a human being, and what you do, an action of yours, are not one and the same thing. And I don't hear an awful lot of people stressing the importance of making that distinction. But I hope that you're starting to see why it's so important to make that distinction. And, let's go back to what I just said, because I really kind of want that to click. I want you to be able to remember moments when you've done that yourself. I've done this shameful thing, so I'm shameful. That guy did this shameful thing. He himself then is shameful. He's without value. You've done that many times, haven't you? I did that many times when I was unhealthy. Failed to make the distinction. The shooter in Uvalde, Texas, as a human being, was not without value. Ironically, the reason why he probably decided to carry out such a shameful act at all is why? Why? Because he'd been raised to believe and view himself as shameful. Isn't that interesting? The reason he probably carried out this terribly shameful act at all is because he had been raised to view himself as shameful. What a tragedy. But he himself was not shameful. If he had known that, if he had grown up making a distinction between the things he does as possibly being shameful, as being completely distinct and separate from him as a person. Do you see how every mistake that he made, every terrible mistake or shameful thing that he did, knowing that, he could have said, all right, but I still have value, and I can just do things differently moving forward. You see how healthy that is, how nourishing that is, right, in a healthy way, how nourishing that perspective is. Yes, the thing I did is shameful, but I have value. And because I have value, I want to live up to that value by not continuing to do this shameful thing. So I recognize that what I did was shameful. I won't do that anymore. You see how nourishing and healthful and healthful and healthy that type of thinking is. Those perspectives. That accurate, healthy way of viewing things. And then how unhealthy is it when you go, well, I did this shameful thing. That's proof that I'm shameful. I'm without value. Wallow in that. And because there's no fixing what you are and who you are, eventually you're going to do more shameful things. It's the perspectives that ultimately lead to the most horrendous tragedies.